Casting for this year's biggest shows are underway, and the biggest in town is always I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. We've had a couple of names thrown into the mix already. We have confirmed here at The Sun that Corrie's Alan Housel and Josie Gibson from This Morning are in the mix and heading down under. But the biggest name of them all, which has been thrown into the mix this week, is Boris Johnson. So following last year's huge success of Matt Hancock, who of course went into the jungle, one of public's #1 enemies, and came out runner-up, a political name is going to be a real big ticket this year. So we heard this week that they had offered the biggest pay in I'm a Celebrity's history, 700 grand to Boris Johnson to try and get him down in that jungle eating those witchetty grubs. But we heard yesterday that Boris has completely ruled out the show and has said no to all talks. Boris, of course, has left Westminster and he no longer answers to the public purse in the same way that he did when he was Prime Minister, but he still cares deeply what people think about him. His whole career is now based on after-dinner speeches for which he earns a hell of a lot of money. 700 grand is huge, but potentially for Boris isn't enough for him to risk what that might look like for his public image. Of course, as well, it's a cost of living crisis. That's an insane amount of money for someone to head down and appear on a TV show. The most that the show has ever paid someone was Noel Edmonds, 600 grand back in 2018.
And some sunny periods later.
We know that Matt Hancock was paid 320 grand. That was because that was declared in the Register of Members' Financial Interests. We perhaps wouldn't get that same transparency with Boris now he's left Westminster, but it's still insane to think that people who have been put in those positions by the public to represent the public are then elevated to these celebrity status where they can command these huge fees. ITV want that kind of figure in the jungle because they create huge talking points. It drives talk online, it pushes for viewers, and of course that helps with their advertising spend. Matt Hancock was such a big draw for I'm a Celebrity. It just means that they need a name similar to that gravity this year. Casting this year's show is going to be a big problem for ITV this year because last series was just so ridiculously successful. They are looking at other politicians, so Liz Truss is in the frame now, but whether they're going to be able to repeat that same success of Matt Hancock, nobody knows. Of course, Boris probably would have been amazing in the jungle. He was so good at that banter and that chat. He's great at asking questions. Everybody, despite all of the issues that went on when he was in position, people still loved Boris. So he probably would have gone down as one of ITV's best campmates ever.